Most people die with their greatest work still trapped inside them, not because they lacked talent, but because they spent years waiting for certainty, permission, confidence, or the perfect time to begin. Maybe you felt it too. A book you want to write, a business you want to build, a song, a film, a community, a mission. Something that keeps returning to your mind no matter how many times you push it away. What if that reoccurring idea isn't random? What if it's pointing towards the very thing you're meant to create? And what if the greatest tragedy isn't failure, but leaving your magnum opus unfinished? I believe we all have a calling, and according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that self-actualization, the peak, we have to go through the foundations first. Needs of survival, belonging and community, sense of responsibility. I don't have the thing right in front of me, but you can look that up on your own time. But at the top is self-actualization. What idea keeps returning to me no matter how often I ignore it? What have I felt drawn towards creating for years? When did I first notice this desire? I feel like it started out high school, wanting to make music with friends. Not 100% sure why. Maybe it's for validation. Probably that was the majority of it. But something about songs, music, it created an adrenaline within me of bringing something to life, something that can move me spiritually, physically, and it also allowed my mind to have a rhythm to flow with. It felt calm, peaceful, and being able to create something like that, bring something like that into existence just from my own will, is something that feels and has been continuously returning towards something I would like to pursue in the form of an album. What part of me comes alive when I think about creating it? The lyrics, the crowd chanting, but also the freedom with being able to not care who doesn't like it, making sure that I like it is the only thing I can control. If I could spend the next decade bringing one thing into existence, what would it be? An album, working on a video game, and working on a business channel, marketing purposes. So there's a few things I'm to bring into existence, and I'm engaging in daily effort, daily steps to make that into a reality. We underestimate how much we can do in 10 years and overestimate how much we can do in 1 year. I'm thinking long term. Then there's another aspect, creation versus consumption. How much of my life is spent consuming compared to creating? When do I feel the most fulfilled, after consuming or creating? What creations have given me the deepest sense of meaning? What would happen if I redirected even a fraction of my consumption towards creation? Being able to accept myself. Less time spent comparing on the things that I did not have. Being able to turn imagination into reality. My perspective, my lens on what I deem to be art, beauty. That has often been the source or the deepest sense of meaning, adding to this world instead of just continuously taking from it. What can I get? What can I get? What can I produce? What can I give? Something about leaving things behind that might help other people, that other people might cherish, appreciate as I will when I'm engaging in that process itself. And then there is fear and resistance. What am I afraid will happen if I fully commit to this pursuit? Whose judgment am I worried about? What criticisms do I imagine receiving? What would I create if nobody could criticize me? And what excuses disappear if I'm completely honest with myself? All these questions, asking yourself this as I'm asking myself, can peel back the layers of what you truly find meaningful. What is worth your time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears? What am I afraid will happen? I'll enjoy it too much. I will regret not starting sooner. Best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. So they say. And this judgment, most people don't even care. They say, oh, that's nice. Oh, haha. And they go about thinking about whatever else their day holds. So all this time thinking about what others are going to think and judge me for, and the freedom of accepting that nobody is thinking about you. Therefore, create to your heart's content. There will be people who appreciate it, people that will hate, but not, or trying to minimize the price of regret. The longer we wait, the more we delay, the more excuses we shell out to ourselves. That regret keeps stacking and compounding. And legacy, what would I want people to remember me for? Is legacy important to me, or is it the act of creation itself enough? If someone discovered my work 100 years from now, what would I hope they feel? What contribution feels uniquely mine to make? What gift do I feel responsible for sharing? Don't really care about legacy too much. The act of creating is reward itself. I'm trying to convince myself of that. Just being able to recognize time is finite. So spending it on things that I find purposeful, meaningful. If others enjoy it, that I share, I'm glad they were able to stumble upon it, find it. But I know in my final hours, I'll just be able to reflect on all the time I spent creating instead of consuming. And that will provide me solace in those moments. Identity. Am I someone who creates or someone who dreams about creating? Many are called, few answer. What identity would I need to let go of to pursue this work? Distractions, empty time sinks. I was able to log out of all my social media, making resistances and barriers to accessing it. Now the next mountain is reducing my time spent on YouTube, as that is an endless scroll void where time can disappear. What identity would I need to embrace? What parts of myself become visible through creating? What parts of myself stay hidden when I avoid creating? Embracing the expression of the soul. Being able to viewing life as a game, there's certain stats. You got physical health, mental health, and then I would say soul or spiritual health. Physical is pretty straightforward. Mental health, a little more abstract. But then the soul, it does know when it feels trapped. It does know when it feels silenced or unacknowledged, ignored, dismissed, neglected. So finding that outlet to help my soul feel as free as my body, as free as my mind. And that is often, or that pursuit I found, is through creation itself. Mortality, memento mori, remember we must die. If I had 10 years left, what would I begin immediately? If I knew I had 1 year left, what would become irrelevant? What would I regret never attempting? What unfinished work would weigh on me the most? What would make me feel at peace with the life I lived? These questions, these confrontations with the Reaper, with reality, it really puts things into perspective of what we think is important, what we prioritize, but since we can't know when it's our time, it always seems so far in the future that we don't even have to think about it. But the more we put that in our vision, these questions, the more we start identifying where in our life is not aligned with having the least amount of regret, as that is often the heaviest price, cost, weight that can make people feel, I'm not ready to go. Therefore, always be ready. Always walk your path. And then when it's your time, hopefully your regrets are minimal. Additional questions that you can reflect on yourself or in the comments down below. What idea won't leave you alone? What have you been postponing for years? What would you create if failure wasn't possible? What would you create if nobody ever applauded? What exists in your imagination that does not yet exist in reality? What are you uniquely positioned to create? What would the world lose if you never attempted it? What is your relationship with creation versus consuming? Are you afraid of failing or afraid of discovering what you're truly capable of? If your life ended sooner than expected, what unfinished creation would you regret leaving behind? One day, every conversation you've had will end. Every possession you own will belong to someone else. Every achievement will fade into the background of history, but before that day arrives, you have an opportunity. You have the chance to take something that currently exists only in your imagination and make it real. Not because you're guaranteed success, not because everyone will understand it, not because it will make you famous, but because it feels true. Because something inside you keeps asking to be expressed. Maybe your magnum opus is a book, maybe it's music, a business, a movement, a family. Maybe it's a life lived so fully that no explanation is required. Whatever form it takes, the question isn't whether it's perfect, the question is whether you'll give it a chance to exist. Because the world will never see the masterpiece that remains inside of you, and neither will you. A quote from Jordan Peele. I might butcher it, but from my memory it goes something like this: I cannot worry about what others think or what others judge about me. I have to focus on creating my favorite movie that does not exist yet. What is that magnum opus of yours that has yet to exist? If something resonated with you, consider leaving a comment below and sharing what felt most impactful. To support the channel, you can like, subscribe, and/or share this video with someone who you feel might also benefit. Additional ways to support the channel can be found in the links in the description below. You will also find a link to my website, cravingfreedom.com, where you can access my ebooks. On the website, you can also find descriptions of what to expect from the ebooks. And if you feel ready to commit to your path towards freedom and are seeking in-depth guidance and support, consider applying for one-on-one coaching. Answers to frequently asked questions can also be found on the website. Thank you for your time.